I know you have been asking this question to yourself many times, but what goes into building a habitat like this right in front of us over here? Well, in today's video, I'm gonna teach you and show you what I do before I create a habitat like this wonderful orangutan habitat in front of us. Like before I'm going to show you exactly what I was doing, let me just quickly highlight this habitat in front of us. This is a multi-layer habitat for our wonderful orangutans. They can basically swing from A to B in this wonderful habitat. We also do have some siamangs and some Malayan tapirs in here. We also have some box animals for whatever odd reason. And we have a lot of sounds going on over here. Now, you can tell that there is a lot going on in this habitat. There is a lot that went into it, especially how I created the viewing areas, how I created the different pathways through here, and how I came up overall with the general idea. It's also sitting on the peak of a wonderful little hill in my zoo, and the entire zoo, in case you didn't know, is my zoo Sicily. You can see this is already quite a huge zoo. We are moving towards finishing this wonderful project. In case you are interested, the highlighted playlist will be to your top right now. So in case you want to check out and you're new to the channel, you're new because of console, you're new because you just clicked on the video for whatever reason, there is the way to go to understand what I'm doing. And I talk all the time about where my inspiration comes from and where you can find the bestest information and the bestest inspiration out there. There are several more things we could talk about, but let's focus on the orangutan habitat. So there's a lot that goes into it, but I have a very standard way of doing it, okay? So therefore we need to zoom out of Planet Zoo and go actually into my browser. Alright, so welcome to Pinterest. This is my go-to location to find a couple of images, first of all. You know, that is my very first thing to do, and I'm gonna simply type in whatever I'm going to look for. So in my case, I just typed in orangutan habitat, and most likely it's the best way to go in English, despite, or it doesn't matter if your language is different, you can start with it too, but you will most likely find these things. And look what I found. There is just our wonderful friend, the lady designer, having something over here. Someone seemed to have pinned her habitat over here, and as soon as you click on there, you are greeted with a lot of Planet Zoo stuff. But we don't want that, you know, we want more habitat design. So there, for example, over here, if you click in, you are already greeted by a couple of designs, and there you can see there's one of the first things I saw, and you can see there are already two different sides, and there's also like this almost aviary kind of style, which I did too, and there you can see several others as well. So as soon as I find something, I basically just take that and drop it into a folder, you know, simple as that, nothing crazy. Over here, this is most likely Caesar Creates. I can tell this from the style it is. This could also be lighter, I'm not entirely sure. Let's quickly check this out. I'm very interested to, okay, there's no name given. Where's the source of it? Can I see this? This is Caesar Creates, there you go, in Elm City. I'm so good. Okay, anyways, and this way I'm just slowly getting grips of it, but I want to become a bit more realistic. There are a lot of concepts over here. There is one wonderful page, and this is called the ZooChat community. You will type in zoochat.com/community, or you just go to ZooChat itself, and then in here you will have a couple of topics and so on. For example, you have a topic called speculative zoo design and planning. When you go in there, you will have a lot of different things like designs and so on. You can just browse yourself, get some inspiration, or you can obviously just type in the animal you're looking for, and then you just type in orangutan like this, and then once you search that, you will find a lot of images from people who posted that, and most likely they will come as an animal picture. So what you will do is you will type in orangutan habitat, for example. Oops, I didn't want to put the plus in, but then you can see all of a sudden you are greeted with a couple of images from real zoos, because this community is dedicated to take photos of different zoos. And what a surprise, here you can see already some of these wonderful platforms that I came up with later on. Obviously I altered the design, but this is the way I go in here. Now my actual path went a little bit on, and I was browsing through here, and I found one from, look at that, there's also Leaf, who's in the community, by the way. This is also kind of cool. Look, that's a photo that Leaf posted. Love it quite a lot as well. But then I found something from the Zoom Erlebniswelt here in Germany, which is in Gelsenkirchen, rather close to me. And so I went in and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go and Google that. So the easiest way not to do that in the forum, I actually did that on Google image search, and I put in ZooChat. This is very important that you have like ZooChat and then Zoom Zoom Erlebniswelt, and then you will greet it by a lot of pictures from people who have posted that. As you can see over here, there's also like the map of the zoo, there's another image, and now you can just start clicking through. And in my case, this was not put to the orangutans. I just made sure that I go into the Zoom Erlebniswelt itself. Right, once I've done that, I went into ZooChat again and checked out that I was in the category, because as you can see, now there is a category for the Zoom Erlebniswelt, which is pretty good. And you can see on the left-hand side, you're also going to find all the different zoos you can find. So there's also Dresden, Potsdam, Berlin Zoo Aquarium, and so on and so forth. And once you're going through here, you will find the different animals, for example, the orangutans, and then you can also go through and check these images. You know, there's also picked out macaque and so on and so forth. Like, very much what I was doing. And at this point, I already have a lot of images, but this is not it, okay? Then the next bit you're doing, or at least what I am, you don't need to, you know, these are all like inspiration bits you can do. But I then go to Google Images, and I'm going to go to the exact zoo to see how they set up certain things. And what is very important is you go to, for example, the satellite images, and then you can also check out how different pathways are laid out and so on. You can see how the different styles are done. And for example, over here, you can already see, I believe this is even the orangutan area, you can see how big of a space that actually is in relation to the entire zoo. It's very interesting to see. There's also like the Africa Lodge, and you can see, sometimes you can even also say orangutan, and you will be able to see it. I'm not sure if Google does it this time around. Okay, no, it doesn't really have one. So what you would need to do then is to go check out where we had the map and check out for the biggest map we had. Is there like a bigger one than that? Let me just check if we can find it over here real quick so I can show you exactly what to do. So this is the map, and maybe this is the easiest one to check out on. So that seems to be rather big, and then you're going to zoom in and see where the orangutans are living. You know, this is rather big, and now we can actually check out if we were correct. So this seems to be a different one. Let's see if we can find it. It should be then in Asia or something. Rainforest, lemurs, not sure where it is. I'm a little confused right now. I haven't been there for a long time. I'm not even sure if they... there you go, on the left-hand side in the dome. Okay, this is the tropical dome. This is where they are. Okay, see, this is where the everything is. And now, once we go back, we know, okay, this is over here. And then we zoom in, and now you get all the inspiration you need, like these two islands with the different things, and even this like floating platform in the bit. See, it's been over 15 years ago or so that I was in this zoo, and everything was different, so these things didn't exist. But this is always the best thing to do, you know, you have the map, you check it, and then you go in and you find these different elements. And it's kind of cool to see that they have it like from indoors and outdoors, and then sometimes, not always, but sometimes you can grab your little thingy over here. As you can see, this is the Google Street View, and you can basically place yourself on some of these areas and then have a look. Oh my god, why would you have been there in the winter times? That is so odd. But then you can also see how this is done, like with all the different things where they can climb. This is the little floating boat. And as you can tell, this seems to be also like an old image, because there is not the dome in the background. Oh, it is. Well, oh my god, that was... I didn't see that, like, because it was vanishing in the gray of this wonderful muddy weather. But yeah, there was also some more stuff. You know, you could also put this thing inside of the dome. Where were these things? Anyways, let's go first of all over here. This seems to be posted by the zoo itself. Look, that is fantastic. You can even see it from above, and you get some inspiration how to do also these fences and so on. This person's phone seems to have a little issue here. I'm not really that sharp, but you can really tell how they do certain things. You get the inspiration how to do climb-proof things if you don't want to go with those from the game itself. And then you can also drag the whole thing back in here. So for example, now we see it from the inside, what they have done inside of the dome, and you can see this theme completely changes, because in here, look, we can finally see one of these orangutans. Oh my god, look at this wobbly effect. Woo, woo. Okay, never mind. We can check out out this entire thing and also take some images, obviously. Okay, but we're not quite done yet because there's one more thing I want to show you. And yes, I know many people are like, oh my god, no, don't use AI. But hell, I think it's beautiful. What I created, let me just quickly show you. I use the app LensGo AI. The reason for that is you have 50 credits a day for free, which mostly is enough to do some planning. And then also, you can set up your own set of image generation, and I have my style called Planet Zoo, as you can see. And what I did is I basically loaded like 100 screenshots from Planet Zoo, from different screenshots I took in here, and so the AI will already create something that looks like Planet Zoo. So for example, over here, I just did that for the video. You can see a orangutan habitat, very modern design, lots of concrete, lots of green plants, huge viewing area, aerial photography. This is exactly what I did just to get the grips of it. And then you can see this is what the game, or like what the AI came up with. It's kind of like we have some parallels in here as well. But, you know, it's not perfect by any means. But it just gives you that little bit of an idea how you could set up things. And oh boy, this looks really fancy, honestly. This looks super great. I didn't expect this to happen. This one over here looks kind of crappy, to be honest. Weird orangutans, which is actually in two sides. It kind of gives me confidence that AI isn't that far anyways, because there are lots of pictures of orangutans in the data set, and it just doesn't get it done. But you can also increase the likeliness, so it will stick a lot closer to it. And we will do a second thing over here, and this is going to be called still orangutan habitat, and then we make that like Sicilian style, different areas, path meandering through it, and huge climbing towers. I don't know what comes up. And then again, aerial photography. You could also say drone photography, that also works. Photography, for example. And then you hit enter. And boom, there we go. We have some more inspiration. And on the left-hand side, this looks already pretty similar to what I have created, and gives you the idea how to deal with different rock formations, for example, what kind of trees you can use, and how different areas could be set up. I do actually prefer what I did at the end of the day, but you can really tell how this can give you inspiration to do your own. It is not perfect whatsoever. I mean, you can literally tell how crappy that looks at the point. But this is not the point about the video. This is how you can get all your inspiration together. Now, at this point, you will have a lot of things laid out in your area, what you can do. And now let's go on what's the next step in creating your habitat. And therefore, we are back in the game. And I just didn't go in and created this habitat into the blue, you know. That is not what I created. You can see some of the inspiration you have seen is already pretty much one by one realized in here. But what I usually do is I'm gonna plan out things, and I'm gonna do and tilt the camera to the above look, and so you can really tell how this habitat looks in the end. And I'm gonna guide you through what I did at the beginning. Now, the first thing, I'm gonna hit pause because these animals are way too loud. The first thing I did is I checked out where I wanted to have the main area sit. So this is basically the main building, you know, including the backstage access, including some of the areas that can be locked, because you always have to think about, okay, where would these animals be in case of a storm, bad weather, winter, whatnot. So this is the main area, and this is where everything should lead to. Okay, so once this is done, I have set up the pathing. Pathing is absolute something you need to do at the very beginning before you start building, because building path later on is absolutely a no-go. It's gonna destroy all your builds, because you know how finicky the path in this game is, especially when you play without free build. But even if you play with a free build, it's still gonna make you redo your habitat many times until you did it. So make sure you build the pathing as the very first thing you did. And after I've done the pathing, I actually created these pits over here. So this is the piece I have created. So I'm just going to quickly duplicate that so you can see it. So this one went into planning. So I put these circles in. You can see they fit almost perfectly in all these areas. I honestly changed a couple of things to make it not look repetitive, but this was the way I planned out things. So I put them like here, and here. So we had these 4 circles as of, if you see this from above, you can see that this is like the perfect layout I had, like 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this was like basically the form I wanted to do, and then I meandered the path through it, and afterwards I was thinking, you know what, I just need also like a little bit of a water feature. This is going to be sitting in between here, and so from there I started to create the areas. Okay, now once you've done that, you have your wonderful first area, and what you then will do, you go back to all your inspiration you had, and you have to make sure what kind of elements you want to have. And in my specific case, I wanted to make sure that I have a tower like this. Just gonna copy that over. I wanted to have this netting above one of the areas, just to have like a very nice element. I wanted to have one of these swings again. Whoops, let me just grab that whole thing. I'm not sure if that's a whole building. Yeah, it is. One of these swings I wanted to have again as like a little bit of an eye catcher, you know, and the building itself, obviously, which I'm not going to copy over. So then you will have your elements that will make your habitat stick out. Okay, this is then what you want to do with different things, to have an eye catcher, to have some locations to look at, and also something for your animals to play around with. And once you have these things, you will start putting them in. So you can see I took the towers and just scattered them across the area to make sure that I have them and connected them so my animals can go from A to B, because obviously we didn't want to have them on the ground. I'm still very much blown away by how nice this area turned out to be looking at the end, honestly. And you can see that I drew so much inspiration from all the images we've seen. Some of these fence designs are taken from ZooChat areas, and then I also made sure that we have these kind of waterfronts with the rocks is very similar to something you see in there. Also, this roundish area with the path through below is taken from Gelsenkirchen, I think it was as well, and then, you know, the design there too. Also, these kind of viewing areas you have very often in these zoos, and how they use these fences to secure some of the foliage so the animals do not go rampage in there as well, and so on and so forth. You can see also lowering down these areas here to the concrete wall to make sure that they can't climb up here is also a thing. I also could have done some of these climb-proof things to the sides, but I decided against it because I didn't want to make it look too odd. But yeah, so this is mostly what I did at the beginning. And once you have done this and put all these all these elements in, you will have your basic layout, and from there you will be starting to detailing it out. And this is already all of it, you know. From there your inspiration can run wild, because all your insecurity to get started at this point is gone, because you have your setup, you know what to do, you have some kind of limitations, you've got some boundaries, you've got a clear guidance where you want to do, and within this guidance you can basically start creating a wonderful looking habitat like this. And I'm just gonna go down and fly over before I'm gonna tell you what's happening next. So if you guys want to have more inspiration like that, there's a ton of videos I have for you, including how to make areas between your different habitats look nice. I have tutorials about lakesides and how you make waterfronts look nice. I have tutorials about advanced building. I have tutorials about how to make plazas look good, especially like down here, how you make natural pathing feel natural and still work with the game's mechanics, and how to make buildings look more organic. All of these will be linked in the playlist for the tutorials I have in here. And this video hopefully gave you a lot of inspiration. And then if it did give you a lot of inspiration, you may want to watch the next video, because that is actually the perfect segue into the next project you are doing. See you in the next one.